Hey, what's up everyone? I'm Ernie Gonzalez and I'm a part of the Alienware community team, and today we're going to check out the new Alienware M17R4 gaming laptop. This is a thin and sleek 17-inch gaming notebook which features Intel 10th gen processors and new Nvidia Geforce RTX 3070 or 3080 graphic options. So let's hop right in and check it out. I've got my M17 model with an 8-core Intel i9-10980 HK processor, Nvidia Geforce RTX 3080 graphics, 32 gigabytes of DDR4 at 2933 megahertz, a nice upgrade from previous gens, a 17.3-inch UHD screen with Tobii eye tracking, and for network connectivity, it's got killer Ethernet, Wi-Fi 6, and Bluetooth 5.1. I've got the 17-inch 4K UHD screen at 60 Hz, but there are a few options to choose from, like the FHD 144 Hz with or without G-Sync option, or the all-new FHD 360 Hz screen with G-Sync. The M17R4 exterior lid features Alienware's Legend ID, with an RGB alien head logo and sharp lunar light stain-resistant paint scheme. The interior features an RGB keyboard, alongside custom hexagon vents, Tobii eye tracking, and a standard HD webcam.
Hey, what's up guys? This is the M17R4 webcam.
My M17 weighs in at roughly 5 pounds and has an approximate height of 16.9 millimeters. The M17 hinges are smooth and durable, showcasing Alienware's premium build quality. The Alienware M17 features none other than Alien Effects, with the latest version of Alienware Command Center with features designed for the gaming community, with auto-tuned game profiles, thermal and overclocking controls, and new Alien Effects settings. On the left side, we have a wedge-shaped lock slot, air exhaust vents, killer Ethernet port, USB 3.2 port with PowerShare technology, and an audio out port. On the right side, we have a micro SD card reader, 2 USB 3.2 ports, and more air exhaust venting. On the back, we have hexagon air exhaust on both corners. In the center, we start with an updated HDMI 2.1 port, outputting 4K at 120 Hz. Next to that, we got a 1.4 mini display port, Thunderbolt 3 port, Alienware graphics amp port, and finally, our power slot. The bottom features rear intake slots for vast airflow, alongside rubberized chassis feet and 4-way stereo speakers with dual tweeters and a woofer. But let's talk about what keeps us cool in the thermal department. The M17, along with all M15R4 models, now feature vapor chamber cooling to help spread out the heat and keep your system frosty during those intense gaming sessions. Along with vapor chamber cooling, the M-series notebooks now feature a TCC offset controller. A lot of people online have asked for this solution and we listen. TCC offset controller is located in the BIOS under performance option. Here the user can set TCC offset values. Just remember, increasing TCC offset will reduce maximum CPU temps, but may also slightly reduce CPU performance in certain applications. While on the topic of performance, the Intel i9-10980 HK paired with Nvidia's RTX 3080 in this sleek and thin form factor stands above the crowd, lighting up these benchmarks and bringing the juice in any game. The Alienware M17R4 gaming laptop is engineered to perfection with its futuristic Legend ID and Intel 10th gen processor options, Nvidia's RTX 30 series graphics, and the confidence to elevate your game to a whole new level. The M17R4 stops at nothing to deliver quality and performance while joining you on every adventure. Well, thank you all for tuning into the Alienware YouTube channel. I'm Ernie Gonzalez, and I hope you enjoyed this video featuring the new M17R4 by Alienware. Don't forget to like and subscribe and ding that bell. Drop me a comment down below and let me know what you think. Till next time, stay safe, and I'll catch y'all later. Peace.
And we're back. What's up, everybody? What's up, Ernie? How you doing, man?
Hey, what's up, Eddie? How's it going?
Doing great, man. Doing awesome, man. I'm having a great time here. For those of you guys that didn't catch our segment earlier, we were covering some of the desktop updates. Now we want to talk to you guys about the new laptop updates. And so we're going to talk to you guys about the M15 and the M17. Once again, my name's Eddie, and I'm with the Alienware product marketing team. And with me, Ernie, you want to introduce yourself again for the newcomers to the stream?
Yeah, of course. I'm Ernie Gonzalez, and I'm a part of the community team.
So on the new M15 and M17, we're very, very excited to bring on the latest graphics from Nvidia. So we have graphics from, we're spanning the 30 series. So this is based on Nvidia's 2nd generation RTX technology. Some people know it as Ampere, that's the code name. But these are the Nvidia Geforce RTX 3070 and 3080 graphics cards now available on the M15 and the M17. And what I'm particularly proud about is that our notebooks did not get any thicker, any larger, any heavier, and they're still able to support these latest graphics technologies all the way to the 3080. And that speaks volumes when it comes to just the engineering of the system. But that's not all that we changed. I can talk about graphics for a bit, but we've got a few technology updates to call out. So Ernie, why don't you share with us some other things that are new to the M15 and the M17?
Yeah, of course. With the M series, along with the 30 series graphics, I know that's really exciting news. But we've done something that the community has been asking for quite some time, and that's improved memory speeds, right? We went from 2666 megahertz all the way up to 2933. So we're delivering on that for high speed and just overall gaming experience. It's going to be better, right? So we're here to deliver on that as well.
Aside from that, what else is really important is the displays, right? So we're really excited to be offering some beautiful displays, some stunning displays with the new M15 and the M17. In fact, the M17 is going to be our first of the M series notebooks to carry an option for 360 hertz refresh rate. So that's an incredibly fast panel, and you'll be able to see the benefits of that panel when you're in a high-speed scene, right? When there's a lot of action and a lot of these 3D objects are moving quickly. You want your GPU and your display to be able to run the frames quickly so that all that motion appears real smooth. So that's a panel that supports G-Sync as well. So just picture that, right? You've got the new 30 series graphics up to a 3080. You got faster memory, and now you can get up to a 360 hertz panel on the 17-inch, and all within a G-Sync type of environment. The M15 also has beautiful displays, so it will be featuring up to a 300 hertz panel or a 4K UHD OLED panel. So I'm just really excited about what we've been able to do with these notebooks, and there's even more stuff. So Ernie, why don't you tell us a little bit about some of the stuff I missed? I'm sure I missed something.
Of course. There's one thing in particular I do want to talk about, and that's something the community has been asking for, and that's a little bit of a refresh on our outputs, right? So we've been updating our HDMI ports to the brand new 2.1 ports, and with that we get 4K at 120 hertz. So if you're like me and you like the game on the brand new Alienware 55-inch OLED and you want to throw down some Call of Duty, you can pump it out at 4K at 120 hertz. So check it out now with the new M series.
Yeah, that's awesome, and that is at a native 4K 120 hertz, man. That's just amazing. So yeah, all of this technology on the same size, same weight, beautifully designed M15 or M17, now available in North America. You can read more about the system on Alienware.com. And there's all kinds of great features to call out, so come check it out. Bernie, I don't know if you had some more to share with the folks at home.
Definitely, guys. I got one of the best call outs because it's something the community talks about all the time, right? And that's heat dissipation in these thin and light notebooks, right? How do we get heat dissipation inside these thin and lights? What are the thermals like? What is it like? Well, let me tell you guys right now that these new M series laptops feature nothing else but vapor chamber in every config. So no need to worry about performance and thermals. Just get right in there and play your game. Nothing else matters.
Tons of technology, tons of innovation. These are things that we're proud of because they're technologies that we came up with. Our system architects are very proud of them as well. And so they're all available on the new M15 and M17 R4. Now, I mentioned it before, but they will become available as early as January 26th in North America. And other countries will have different availability dates. But if you check us out on social media, follow us on Twitter, follow us on Instagram and Facebook. And of course, join the Alienware community on Alienware Arena, and you'll get the latest product updates, including if there's a particular country of interest that you're looking to get an M15 or M17 R4 on. But definitely look us up. And I hope you guys enjoyed this broadcast, and we look forward to connecting with you guys again. Let's send it back to Trisha and JD. Thanks, everybody. Thanks, Ernie. Pleasure, man.
Thank you.
The GF65 Thin is here, bringing great gaming performance in a light and compact package. Included in the GF65 Thin box are accessories such as the AC power adapter and cord, warranty registration card, and user guide, and of course, the laptop itself. On one side of the brushed aluminum finished laptop, we find the power and HDMI ports, and on the other, we find two USB 3.2 Gen 1 Type-C and another two USB 3.2 Gen 1 ports. Alongside the USB ports lie an Ethernet port, a Kensington lock port, and a combo audio jack. Topside, there's a backlit keyboard with multi-touch touchpad below it, and a 720p webcam in the display bezel. The 15.6-inch IPS-Level display panel has a 1920 by 1080 resolution and up to an optional 144Hz refresh rate. Under the hood, we find up to an Intel Core i7-9750H processor, up to an RTX 2060 GPU, both kept cool thanks to our Cooler Boost 5 technology. It also comes equipped with an optional 16 gigs of RAM and expandable M.2 SSD storage to ensure a quick and fluid gaming experience even in the most demanding AAA game titles. Running benchmarks in Rainbow Six Siege and Shadow of the Tomb Raider on the highest quality preset showed Rainbow Six Siege averaging about 182 frames per second and Shadow of the Tomb Raider averaging 75 FPS. Keep in mind that our GF65 Thin used in this video is running on a Geforce GTX 1660 Ti GPU, so you can expect even better performance if you opt for the Geforce RTX 2060 model. The GF65 Thin is extremely light, weighing in at only 4.1 pounds with dimensions of about 14 inches in length, close to 10 inches in depth, and less than 1 inch in height with the lid closed. Taste victory wherever you go with the GF65 Thin.
Hey everyone, today we are glad to introduce the latest Nvidia GeForce RTX 30 series graphics for gaming laptops. We'll be talking about features, testing in a variety of software, and going through AAA titles to see what exactly we are getting. The 30 series laptop graphics from Nvidia's second generation RTX architecture, Ampere, uses new RT cores, Tensor cores, and streaming multi-processor for the most realistic ray trace graphics and cutting-edge AI features. For gamers, here are the specification compared GPU from the previous generation. On one side, we have the GE76 Raider with the RTX 3080 laptop graphics with 8GB of VRAM. And on the other side, we have what it is on the current market with RTX 2080 series graphics. Here on the screen, you can see the specifications. Usually gaming laptops are preset at balance mode. For today, we'll be using the option Extreme Performance on Dragon Center for that optimal setting in gaming performance. Besides CPU adjustments, you can also change the setting on GPU clock speed and VRAM frequency. Then all you have to do is adjust the fan speed on our Cooler Boost to help the heat dissipation in extreme load and maintaining the highest performance. We will be running the following tests in this configuration. Now let's take a look at how RTX 3080 performs in 3D Mark TimeSpy. As you can see, the new RTX 3080 outperforms the RTX 2080 graphics card by 26%. After seeing the difference in performance testing on the two GPU, we need to see how it runs in gaming scenario. We will be testing in Cyberpunk 2077 with similar settings on both laptops. Full screen FHD with VSync off at Ultra preset. As you can see in the in-game data performance, the RTX 3080 is averaging about 83 FPS, while the RTX 2080 Super is capping at 67 FPS. Here is the testing comparison between RTX 3080 and RTX 2080 in Cyberpunk 2077. Based on the testing, we can see the improvement on the RTX 3080's graphics. Now let's test in Assassin's Creed Valhalla with the same settings. For the RTX 3080, we can see an average of 91 FPS, while the RTX 2080 is at a mere 66 FPS. We also see roughly 37% improvement on the new laptop. Finally, we'll be testing the same settings in Red Dead Redemption 2. The RTX 3080 performs at a 145 FPS, while the 2080 Super is at 70 FPS. That is a huge leap at around 100% more performance. The performance of the RTX 3080 graphics outperforms in benchmark software and AAA titles. This shows the next generation of MSI gaming laptops have improved tremendously in terms of performance and stability.
Hi guys, Tom from ROG here with a brand new feature video. This time we're taking a look at the cutting edge Zephyrus M, also known as the GU502. Lightweight and ultra slim, the ROG Zephyrus M is all about hitting your peak performance. Its sleek metal frame can house up to a 9th gen Intel Core i7 processor, along with a beastly Nvidia Geforce RTX 2060 graphics card. Coupled with 16GB of DDR4 RAM and 512GB of speedy RAID 0 SSD storage, the new Zephyrus M boasts lightning-fast load times, even for heavy-duty apps and large games. And we've taken all this heavyweight power and concentrated it into a lightweight package. At just 18.9mm thin and 1.9kg light, the Zephyrus M is 25% thinner and 45% lighter than a typical 15-inch laptop. And not only is it lighter and thinner, but we haven't compromised on the structural integrity either. Its reinforced metal chassis makes it tough enough for everyday use and wear, while its subtle, soft-touch skin across the palm rest keeps it looking clean and professional for work anywhere. Now, if having the latest spec in a lightweight package wasn't good enough, just wait until you see the Zephyrus M's display. Its vibrant and rapid 240Hz refresh rate gives you esports level FPS gameplay, while the 3ms grey-to-grey response time ensures crisper, clearer graphics even during intense fast-paced matches. And to top it off, the 15.6-inch panel is framed by slim 6.2mm bezels, creating an 81% screen-to-body ratio that feels expansive and immersive. Combined with full sRGB coverage with wide viewing angles, the screen is also ideal for showcasing visual projects and media. Now moving on to ports, on one side the Zephyrus M has two USB 3.1 ports, but it also has a USB 3.1 Type-C display port, which also accepts power delivery. And on the other side you have your power input, Ethernet port, HDMI port, USB 3.1 port, a 3.5mm audio jack, and an audio jack for your mic. And speaking about ports and connections, the Zephyrus M allows you to unplug and take full advantage of its easy to carry form factor with up to 8 hours of battery life on a single charge. And that's thanks to Nvidia's Optimus technology, which improves efficiency by intelligently turning off the discrete GPU when dedicated graphics power isn't required, giving you more battery life for everyday work and productivity without slowing gaming performance. Finally, our ROG Armoury Crate software unifies system and lighting settings to put full control at your fingertips. You can easily set up scenario profiles to automatically make adjustments when you launch your favourite titles. For example, the turbo mode can help the 2060 graphics card hit a whopping 1435 MHz at 90 watts. You can also highlight your key controls for different games and workflows with per-key RGB customization, and coordinate colours and visual effects across your compatible peripherals with Aura Sync. And that about wraps it up for this video, so if you want to find out more about the Zephyrus M, be sure to click the link in the description, and subscribe for more feature videos and ROG announcements.
Yeah. I am a legend. I am the GOAT. I am the greatest. I am the hope. I'm like an army. I'm the creator. I feel like a god. They call me the savior. I paved the way tonight to dawn like every day. I can't be stopped. To the top, I'm on my way. Can't take my spot, I'll die for mine. You cross that line. I broke the mold, I cracked the code, and now it's time. And now it's time. The world is mine.
The MSI GL65 is the first gaming laptop I've tested with Nvidia's new higher wattage 2060 graphics. Let's check it out in this detailed review and find out if it's something you should consider. I've got the 10 SEK configuration, which has some decent specs for a gaming laptop, but there are a few different configurations available. You can find examples and check prices with the links in the description. The lid is a matte black metal, the interior is the same, while the bottom is plastic. Overall build quality felt fair, and there were no sharp corners or edges anywhere. The weight is listed at 2.3 kilos, though mine was closer to 2.2 kilos. With the 230 watt power brick and cables for charging, the total rises to almost 3.2 kilos, or 7 pounds. The GL65 is on the thicker side for a gaming laptop with this hardware inside. However, the width and depth are reasonable for a 15-inch machine, and the smaller footprint allows for 7.5mm screen bezels on the sides. The 15.6-inch 1080p 144Hz screen has a matte finish and uses Optimus, which cannot be disabled. By default, the MSI Dragon Center software has display overdrive enabled. With this on, I measured a 5.3 millisecond gray-to-gray response time, but this did introduce a little overshoot. With overdrive off, the response time only increases to 8 milliseconds and the overshoot was gone. It's good that you've got options. Most other laptops don't give you a choice. I've tested the screen with the Spider 5 and got 95% of sRGB, 66% of NTSC, 71% of Adobe RGB, and 71% of DCI-P3. At 100% brightness, I measured the panel at 396 nits in the center with a 640:1 contrast ratio. So pretty good results for a gaming panel overall, though lower on the contrast. Backlight bleed was pretty good too, just some small imperfections that were only detected on camera in this worst case. But this will vary between laptop and panel. There was some screen flex when intentionally pushing it despite it being metal, probably as it's on the thinner side, but the hinges otherwise felt sturdy, though they don't seem to be redesigned to be stronger like we saw in the GS66. It wasn't possible to open up with one finger, as like many other laptops from MSI, the battery is up the back with the heat pipes, but it still felt fine sitting on my lap. Despite the screen bezels being quite thin, MSI have still managed to fit the 720p camera above the screen in the center. No Windows Hello support though.
This is what the camera and microphone look and sound like on the GL65. Here's what it sounds like to type on the keyboard, and this is what it sounds like if we set the fan to max speed. So you can still hear me okay over the fan noise.
The SteelSeries keyboard seems the same as many others from MSI. It's got per-key RGB backlighting, which illuminates all keys and secondary key functions. But they do also sell a red-only option. There's 4 levels of key brightness, or you can turn it off. I liked typing with the keyboard, no problems to report. Here's how it sounds to give you an idea of what to expect. The power button is above the keyboard on the right, as well as shortcuts to boost fan speed or change the keyboard lighting effect, but these can be done through software too. There was some keyboard flex when intentionally pushing down hard, but I never noticed any stability issues during normal use. The Precision touchpad does not click down, however it's got physically separate left and right click buttons. It uses the available space well, and again worked fine with no issues to note. Fingerprints show up easily on the matte black interior and lid, but as a smooth surface, they're fairly easy to clean with a microfiber cloth. On the left from the back, there's a Kensington lock slot, air exhaust vent, gigabit Ethernet, HDMI 2.0 and mini DisplayPort outputs, USB 3.2 Gen 1 Type A port, USB 3.2 Gen 2 Type C port, no Thunderbolt, and 3.5mm headphone and mic jacks. On the right from the front, there are two USB 3.2 Gen 1 Type A ports, full-size SD card slot, power input, and no air exhaust vent on this side. I confirmed that both the HDMI and mini DisplayPort outputs were connected directly to the Nvidia graphics. The Type C port does not have display output. MSI lists the HDMI port as supporting 4K 30Hz, but mine ran fine at 60Hz. The back just has a couple of air exhaust vents towards the corners with leopard text in the center, while the front has some status LEDs in the middle. On the lid, there's an MSI logo in the center which gets lit up from the screen's backlight, so it cannot be controlled. Underneath, there are plenty of air ventilation holes towards the back half of the machine, a stark contrast when compared to the tough A15. Getting inside involves taking out 12 Phillips head screws of the same size. It wasn't too hard to open, but I did have to pry around the entire perimeter. Inside, we've got the battery right up the back with the heat pipes, which is why it's more back heavy. There are two memory slots and a single M.2 slot. Despite there being space for a second, there's no connector.
The Asus Flow X13 was the one gaming laptop I think everybody was talking about in 2021 already. It is a super thin, super light 13-inch laptop, the kind of thing you might see and go, oh, that's kind of like a MacBook, it's kind of like an XPS 13. Inside it actually has some decent gaming chops. It's got an Nvidia 1650 graphics card inside. Now, that is not a super high-end gaming part, but it's pretty good for casual gaming, and most 13-inch laptops would never even have something like that. The real catch is there's a second part that comes with this laptop. Asus calls it the XG Mobile, and what it is an external GPU box. It's about the size of a small tablet, and you connect it to the laptop. Inside this external GPU box has a brand new Nvidia 3080 GPU, the new laptop version of that, and it has its own power supply to drive that graphics card and the laptop itself. You just connect the two parts via a cable, and now you have got this full graphics card powering this little tiny 13-inch laptop. Acer Predator Triton 300 SE is for those times when you want something that is a gaming laptop but doesn't necessarily look like a gaming laptop. Now that MacBook vibe to it, but inside it's got the new Nvidia 3060 GPU. It's not the highest end new GPU, but this is also not the most expensive new gaming laptop, and you want something that has that crossover potential. You can use it every day, you could take it to work back when we go back to the office someday and nobody... It's about 18 millimeters thick, which is pretty thin for a 15-inch gaming laptop. I would kind of call this a stealth gaming machine when you want to do some gaming but don't want to look like it. Lenovo makes some really nice gaming laptops, but it's not always the brand you think of first when you say, oh, I'm going to go buy a gaming PC. Well, they've got a new flagship model for 2021 that looks really cool. It is the Lenovo Legion 7. Legion is Lenovo's gaming line, and it has an interesting upgrade from last year's mainstream Legion models. It takes the 15-inch screen and upgrades it to a 16-inch screen and goes from a 16:9 aspect ratio to a 16:10 aspect ratio. That makes the screen a little bit taller, gives you a little more real estate. This is an interesting way to get more screen in not that much more space. Like a lot of the other new gaming laptops we're going to see in 2021, it combines an AMD Ryzen really gaming intensive CPU with Nvidia's new 3000 series gaming laptop GPUs. On top of that, this guy also has a G-Sync display and HDR, so there's really a lot of good stuff built into the actual screen. I wouldn't call this a super slim or an ultra portable laptop, but it's about 5.5 pounds, a little bit under an inch thick, and for a 16-inch screen laptop, it's pretty good. Then there's the Asus Zephyrus Duo 15 SE. That's a really long name that tells me that this device has a second screen on it. Now, second screens have never really caught on, Apple's Touch Bar is basically a second screen, and that does not have a ton of fans. Asus has worked on this Duo concept for about a year or so now. There were some early models in 2020. In 2021, there's a ZenBook Duo that we got to play around with that was actually really cool, and there's also a Zephyrus Duo, which is the same sort of design, but in a more gaming-forward laptop. Now the secondary screen on these, it pops up a little bit from the keyboard tray. It sort of lines up with the bigger screen, so they seem to flow into each other. In the case of the ZenBook, I really like that if you use Adobe software like Photoshop or Premiere or Illustrator, there are built-in automatic controls that pop up on that second screen when you launch those apps. They can be jog wheels, they can be all sorts of other Photoshop controls. In a gaming laptop, I feel there's a lot of opportunity to take parts of games that you may want to access, whether it's maps or inventory screens or anything like that, and put it on that second screen, which is a pretty hefty size for a second screen on a laptop. Now, it really depends on the game developers or modders to come up with software that will let you break out the different parts of these games and put a nice useful thing on that second screen. That's the part of the equation that's not quite there yet. But compared to the first several generations of secondary screen laptops, which really go back years, that were more gimmicky than useful, I've already seen this Asus Duo version be really useful, and I have high hopes that it's going to continue to be with gaming. This could be the system that really makes second screen laptop gaming something that makes sense. The last on my list of most anticipated gaming laptops of 2021 so far for me is not a huge sea change upgrade, but it offers some new options on things that are very important to gamers. I'm talking about the Razer Blade 15 Advanced line. This has always been one of my favorite gaming laptop lines. They look fantastic. They got really good component options. In the advanced model, it's the 3070 and the 3080. You know, the two higher end parts there, that's fantastic. But what I'm actually more excited about is the large number of display options that you can get with this system. Some people want a very high resolution, some people want a certain type of screen, and of course, some people want a very high refresh rate. That's especially important for esports people, competitive gamers. If you want to go somewhere in the middle, they have a QHD option that's 2560 by 1440. That's actually one of my favorite resolutions for gaming because it's better than regular HD, but it's not going to kill your battery life and your performance the way 4K might. So it's a good compromise, and that you can get a 240 Hz screen, also very good. There's also a 4K OLED touchscreen option. This is really one of the only gaming laptops I can think of that offers an OLED screen. I've got an old version of this, and the OLED screen just looks fantastic. It's only a 60 Hz screen, so that's the trade-off, the resolution and what type of screen it is versus the refresh rate. So Razer's always made really great gaming laptops, and I like that now especially they're offering you a lot of options to customize the display, which is not always the first thing you think of when you think about what's important in your gaming laptop, but probably even equal to the GPU. It's super, super key, and you want to make the right choice there. We've got big traditional gaming laptops. We've got